So we now move on to looking at market research and why companies do it and how they do it. So you need to pause here if you haven't got the worksheet. Get some pen and paper. And what you're looking at, what's from the syllabus, is you need to know all about why companies collect market research and the advantages and disadvantages of the methods that they use. So market research is all about companies asking questions and using ways to find out what customers want and need so that they can produce the products and services that are desired and therefore sell and make a profit. And there's two main types. Basically primary market research, which is research you go out and find yourself, so sometimes called field research, and secondary market research, which is what you find out from using things like the internet. The first reason that companies do market research is to identify any gaps in the market. So you can see there that markets are changing all the time and the companies have to keep up to date with things, and fashions come and go, and so it's important that when there is a gap in the market, companies try to exploit that. If they do some market research, they are going to massively reduce risk and make better business decisions. And you can see there the unfortunate name of the ice cream, which has obviously meant that the market research in this particular case didn't work. But good market research reduces risk. Okay, so what are we looking for when we collect market research? So you want information on the demand for the product. So especially as a new business, you'd want to work out how much people are prepared to pay, what days or what type of products are they going to demand, and then you can produce and sell so that, as you can see from the picture there, you don't run out of stock. You want some information on the competition. So sometimes companies let other companies produce first and then they get the feedback and then they produce a better product. But basically companies must keep an eye on the competition. If you don't keep up with the competition, they're going to do something different and potentially take over your business. You want information on target market. So we've already looked at what a target market is. These are the ideal customer that we're looking for. And things like demography, which is the population, so age, gender, etc., interests, how they buy, what they're interested in terms of television and magazines so that you can advertise. Social media is all important information to have. Now let's look at the difference between quantitative and qualitative information. So when we look at quantitative information, we're collecting data, and you can see there from the slide, we're producing graphs, we're using spreadsheets, we are producing statistical information using what are called closed questions. So this is where we give the answers to the respondents. So gender, age, where you live, factual information that we can then go away and make lots of graphs from. So you can see some examples of quantitative data and information there in research. So questionnaires using closed questions, sending out Microsoft Forms or sending out Survey Monkeys so that you can find out factual information about your customers. Then you might ask some open questions which gather some qualitative information. So here we're looking for opinions and we're looking for reasons why the customer uses our company. So an example of a closed question might be, do you drink Coca-Cola? And then you would back that up with a qualitative, with an open question that says, why? What is it about Coca-Cola that you prefer over Pepsi or other drinks? And then that gives you some qualitative information. So how do companies go about doing market research? Okay, so basically, as I said before, we've got primary research, which is brand new information that you're going to go out and find yourself. And you can do that through questionnaires and surveys, which means you will stand around or send out emails where you ask the questions. And you can see the advantages and disadvantages there. It's basically in your hands, so you can find out precise information that you want. But it can be expensive and it does need a large sample size in order for you to make assumptions. You might do some interviews face to face or on the street where you get people on an individual basis and you ask them questions. This might be used by smaller businesses. When a customer comes in, you might ask them what they think about certain products and gather your data that way. Focus groups are sort of slightly bigger groups than an individual, so you might get a small group of people in your target that fit your target market by age or gender, or the fact that people use your product. Get them to use something new, so try a new flavor or try out the product in some way, and then gather information on their opinions after that. Secondary research, as we said, is called desk research, so it already exists. So someone's already found the information out for you and published it. So this is sometimes around population or the economy, or wage rates, things like that. And so one of the main ways you do this is on the internet, because obviously the wealth of information that's out there, it's easy to find, but it might not be specific to your business. You might need to actually trawl through lots of data to find the specific information that you need. You might look at some printed media, so newspapers or magazines. One of the issues here is that some newspapers might be biased towards one political party or another. So one might report the economy in a good way, another might report the economy in a bad way. But one of the advantages now is that it comes out daily, and you can usually get them on the internet rather than buying the printed media. So you can pause here and have a go at that exercise. And here are the answers. So last thing we need to look at is the difference between market size and market share. So this is a way in which we measure how successful the market is and how successful our business is within that market. So market size is basically sales in a particular market. So the graph you've got there is sales in the grocery market. So when we go to supermarkets and we buy our groceries, the total sales in 2016 was £179.1 billion. And then what we do is we want to look at our particular role in that market. So we take the product sales for one particular business, divide it by the total market value and times by 100, and that gets you the percentage of your market share. So as you can see here, this is the UK market share for supermarkets, and you can see we talk about sort of the big four, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda and Morrisons, have a much bigger percentage of the overall sales compared to the others. Okay, so now have a go at the sample questions and then follow it through to find out if you got the right answers. So here's the first one. So you can pause it here, that shouldn't take you long. Which of the following is a method of secondary market research? And the answer is C. Which of the following is an example of quantitative market research? And the answer again is C, because if you remember, we're looking for figures. Okay, and there's a longer case study question. So analyse one benefit of Sonia completing primary market research. And there are some of the answers that you might have thought about. And then an example answer is there, and you can notice, or you should notice, that it is all based round about the case study, because in the question you've been asked to, you've been given the information and asked to talk specifically about Sonia. Okay, so that is market research done, and as per usual, if you have any questions, see your teacher, or if you want to find some past exam questions and have a go, then you can bring one of them to us and we'll mark them.